you feel like you want to report on a lot of these things to your audience, and it's sort of like what you've been known for. But how do you like sort of block out enough so you can feel like you stay sane?
Yeah, I guess I kind of just go with my intuition, because every time I wake up, I don't really have a team or anything. It's just whatever I want to talk about, however I want to package it. And then sometimes I'm just not in the mood to argue. You know, it's like I just don't feel like it that day. So I guess I kind of just wing it. Yeah. Just go with how I feel.
So at one point you were like super, I don't want to say super, but you were pro-ish Trump. And then you went on the opposite and you're like, no, Trump's not the guy. This happened during the pandemic when all of this started happening. What was that like for you during the pandemic? Well, because that was a crazy time. I think a lot of people have been traumatized through that and maybe don't want to admit just how much it affected their health or their mental health.
Right.
What was that like for you?
I'll take it back just real quick, because like there were a few things that Trump did, because I was like, overall, he's doing a good job. There were a few things that he did that I disagreed with. Like I remember in 2018, he said, I'll never sign another one of these spending bills, because every year, no matter who's in office, they do these multi-trillion-dollar bills that nobody reads. And Trump was like, yo, I don't want to sign this. It's crazy. I'm never going to sign it again.
But I say to Congress, I will never sign another bill like this again. I'm not going to do it again.
And then 2019, he signed it again.
While you were focused on impeachment and enjoying your holiday season, President Trump signed a $1.4 trillion spending bill.
And he was like, oh, I raised the smoking age. And it's like, wow, cool, bro. You raised the smoking age. Like, he just started acting like it was so cool. And then I remember people were pissed at me for like reporting on that. And then like Trump and DeSantis passed these laws that I perceived as kind of like opening the door to like hate speech rules. And I reported on that, and people got pissed at me. And that was the first like, oh, damn, like, you know, people don't want to hear this shit. They only want to hear when I agree with him. And then the pandemic happened. And I would say after 15 days to slow the spread, I literally, one of my favorite tweets I've ever did, it was before they locked the country down. And like people are like, it's prophetic. It's not prophetic. I could act like I'm a secret wizard or whatever. I just read, researched, and I saw what's going on. And I was like, here's what they're going to do. They're going to do mandated vaccines before they had vaccines. I said government lockdowns, you know, bigger speech censorship. I called it. And I said life will never be the same, and Trump doesn't have a magic plan. And my comments are, Trump does have a plan, you piece of garbage. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then after he looked at the chart and extended the lockdown, this is when I kind of started parting ways with him, because I always just try to be accurate, and I'm not like a professional dick rider. And then I started realizing in the Republican movement, there's like real journalists, real analysts, like real, you know, people, and then just professional politicians pretending to be journalists and media people. And I remember Trump said Sweden should have locked down. They're regretting their decision not to lock down. And as somebody that's way like more into liberty, I was like, wait, you think Sweden should have locked down? And when I'm tweeting that, now I'm arguing with people that I'm friends with, because they think it's cool that Trump told Sweden to lock down because they like Trump. And it turned into this whole thing where I was like, wow. And then when he did Operation Warp Speed, I'm like, listen, as, you know, a person that does think that capitalism is pretty solid, you know, that's not capitalist. That's socialist. They're giving $18 billion of government money to the pharmaceutical industry. And then Trump and Biden both bought hundreds of millions of doses. So outside of the mandates, which is another travesty, it's still a socialist scheme, and Trump's really proud of it. And it's like, I know, I'm not saying all pharmaceuticals are bad. I'm not saying they don't do anything. But as you know, it's like they're everywhere on the television. Everywhere you turn, everything's a pill. We're one of 2 countries that they're just promoting like doctor prescribed pills that you can't even get without a doctor. And it's too much. And people are fat, and people are, you know, depressed, and people are overdosing on opioids and fentanyl. And like now you're giving this industry $18 billion of taxpayer money that we don't even have a choice of. And now they're shoving it down our throat because it's free, because it's not free. And I'm like, I thought socialism sucked. That's what Turning Point USA says and Trump says. But everyone started getting mad at me. So it's funny because like I really didn't go through some sort of like metamorphic shift, or I turned into like freaking Rachel Maddow or something, like everyone's pretending. Like I just kind of stuck to what I believed, and Trump started doing all this other stuff. And then after the pandemic, like when he was out of office, he pretty much just ran around conservative media saying like it was the greatest achievement of mankind. It saved 100 million lives, like stupid stuff that like not even Bill Gates would say. So then it became sort of a thing where there were people that liked Trump and voted for Trump that disagreed with him. And how I feel, it's almost like a religion where it's like just trust in him. And, you know, even say like a Ron Paul, if Ron Paul did something I didn't agree with, he earns my trust by doing things I agree with. He doesn't do things that I don't like, and then I'm just supposed to blindly follow him. Like, trust is earned. Even with me, I don't say, hey, guys, if I say something, believe everything I say because you like me. It's like, check it. If like you like me for a reason, and if I ever fail, then, like an athlete that's past his prime, call me out. Tell me I'm a has-been. Don't just blindly worship what I'm saying. Respect me because what I'm saying is true. And that was like the whole disconnect, and it's been I would say chaotic in the conservative movement ever since 2020 for multiple reasons.
Yeah, one of the more dangerous things that I try to talk about is when you have somebody you like pass a policy that you like because it's a guy you like and it's for a reason you like, and people can't conceptualize how that policy could potentially be used by someone you don't like. So, for example, let's say you got someone in office who you love and you love their support, and they're like, listen, these are the bad guys. We're going to pass these laws to get these bad guys. And you're like, I like that. But then nobody goes, wait a minute. Those laws aren't going to go away after we got the bad guys.
Right.
How can that law be used in a way that I maybe don't support?
Right.
Like that's the part that I think people, because what happens is the next guy comes in, nothing goes away. These laws get piled on top. You brought up the Patriot Act. That's a great example.
Right.
It's still here.
Right. They're
still spying on everybody. They can do this. They National Defense Authorization Act, they could throw you in jail without a jury or a trial and never tell anybody. They could keep you in there forever. Yeah, cool if we catch a dangerous terrorist, but is that the kind of power you want anybody to have? What if somebody who's really evil is in office, which will happen?
Right.
That's the kind of stuff that really bothers me. I think people have trouble with. What do you think that is? Do you think it's just that we're just wired to want to follow somebody blindly? What do you think that is?
I want to real quick on that note, because I don't like to argue that much, but because of all like the war propaganda coming out in the last couple of days, all I said on the one page was I was like, hey, remember the Patriot Act? Like it feels like the same script, and it's like emotions are high, like there's real tragedy, but just watch out for this. And someone commented, he goes, well, dude, screw you, man, because Republicans passed it, yeah, but it was liberals who abused it. And it's like, exactly, like just like you said, it's like, yeah, Republicans passed it. And then eventually the power, like everything, exactly what you said, every time you pass anything, whether it's Trump, Biden, Obama, the other side's going to get that power. So it's like, that doesn't make it right. That means you're stupid. You pass something but what is that? I think it's the tribalism for sure. That both sides are just like fighting these like little proxy wars against each other. Even in the conservative movement, now you have like Trump people fighting DeSantis people. Some of it's righteous, but like it's like they're all like ride or die with their guy. And I'm watching both of them. I'm like, I have a preference, although it can shift based on like what they do. But like these people, they're just like being the same type of hypocrites that they hate in each other. Like just anything I got to do for my guy. Now they're looking at Trump rallies saying there's not enough people there and there's not enough people there and he's wearing boots. And it's like all the stupid crap they did to Trump, they're doing to each other. I think it's tribalism. But yeah, I think that, and this is probably unpopular to some, but like with George Bush, he was the American patriot and he tricked Republicans, and now they know they got tricked by George Bush, but it's a little too late. Then Obama came in and he was like the cool guy for 8 years, and now there's Trump. And everybody doesn't want to admit that it could happen again, but I'm seeing the same type of like 2000s Patriot Act type of stuff going now. Like Republican pages posting like, why aren't they on the FBI watch list? Literally yesterday, I saw people at a protest, they go, why aren't they on the FBI watch list? And I'm like, bro, you don't have to like them. You don't have to respect them. But like, you're on the FBI watch list now because you did that to terrorists in the 2000s. And now they label you a terrorist because if you expand the definition of terrorists to include 50 different groups that aren't terrorists, eventually they're going to say Trump supporters are terrorists. So it's like the same Trump supporters that I know and I like that are complaining that the feds are like investigating them now are calling to investigate random innocent people at a protest because they're siding with the wrong policy. And I get tensions are high right now, but it's like they're making the same mistakes that they made during the Bush era.